Hello and welcome to the On the Slate Movie Podcast. We are your hosts, Wesley,
Jason,
and Dasher.
And on the slate for today, we're going to be deep diving the movie 12 Angry Men from 1957. Let's get to it, fellas. Well, friends, it's been a few weeks since we last met. How are you guys doing?
Wonderful. Doing
Wunderbar.
wonderful.
We're just feeling German all of a sudden for no reason.
well, he felt German and I felt like being inspired by him.
There you go. Okay, well,
That's
this movie
right.
has nothing to do with Germany, but I'm glad you guys are feeling
How do we know there's not
supportive of our German friends.
German Easter eggs?
There might be, actually. I don't know. But, yes, like we said in the intro, 12 Angry Men is the movie we will be deep diving today. It's a classic movie that's talked about in pretty much every film school. None of us have been to film school. Maybe Asher, did you?
I toured a film school, and then
You toured a film school.
and then at the end, they hit us with the tuition, and so I went back home.
So, there you go.
I went back home and started working with my
Welcome
dad.
to the 21st century United States. Anyway, so we're movie fans first, and then probably film critics second. So we just, we're going to approach this movie from just watching it together once. I think some of us have seen it. Maybe I've seen it twice, I think.
I've also seen it twice.
I've seen it once.
So I'm sure that you can find somewhere some professor probably has more profound things to say, but we are going to approach it from that perspective of just guys who like watching movies and talking about them. So
We are going to give our opinions and thoughts for free.
for free.
I mean, low key, what we like is correct. So I don't know what you're...
Okay. Me and Jason have different opinions, so don't pair me in with that. Anyway,
Boy, do we.
so this movie was released in 1957, and
Old.
yeah, it's a black and white movie, man. That was back when life was in black and white. I don't think color existed until
All their
At least,
clothing,
like, the
all their
60s.
clothing was black and white.
Yeah.
That's
If you were
why it's
rich-
black and white in the movie.
If you were rich and in the 30s or something when The Wizard of Oz came out, you could just turn on color sometimes.
one day everybody was just like, "Oh my gosh, there's color!"
They're like, what is that? What is that? What's a
man.
yellow? Brick road. What does that mean?
No, they had the words. They just didn't know what
They-
the colors were.
They added the color later. Some guy in the
Just decided what yellow
post-production,
is.
like some guy was remastering Wizard of Oz and added in voiceover yellow every time they said Brick Road. That's so stupid. Anyway, it was directed by Sidney Lumet. It was his movie debut or
Was it
directorial debut,
Was it really?
and it was written by Reginald Rose. What a name! Nobody names their kid Reginald anymore.
Wasn't it a book, though? It was a book first, right?
I think it was a teleplay, is what it says here.
What on earth is that?
A teleplay, I think, is like a play for television. I believe.
I guess I should have guessed that.
So anyway, yeah,
It's a play you tell people. There's no acting. It's just you write it and then you gather people
so there's
together.
these
And
12
tell them.
guys.
You tell
and
people that
believe
there's
it or
a play.
So there's this play of 12 guys, and they're very angry. One's not that angry. He's just trying to be cordial about the situation.
So it's really like 11 angry guys, all kind of upset against this one dude, which might make him angry, but we don't really see that. He seems pretty cool about it the entire time.
So
So that's a teleplay.
I don't think any of those answers are correct, Jason. What is a teleplay? We are the experts here, bringing.
Dude, the internet allows us to correct ourselves live in television.
A teleplay is a screenplay or script used in the production of a scripted television program or series.
Can you say that again?
A teleplay is a screenplay or script used in the production of a scripted television program or series. So it's
So is that just an archaic term
it's like
for
a
TV
script
show?
for a TV show. But then, so it was originally written for TV, I guess, and then they decided to
Make it a full
feature length movie.
Interesting.
Little did they know this would be one of the best screenplays ever written. So
I think they knew what they had on their hands.
and we're going to talk about that at some point.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so brief synopsis of the movie. I'm going to read this out.
So there are 12 guys.
There are 12 angry men in this. Although, I don't think all of them are angry.
There are 12
Yeah.
definitely frustrated
There are
guys.
some guys that are just kind of like, all right. There's at least 2 angry guys in this.
For sure.
One guy gets angry. The third guy kind of gets angry at one scene. Another, Anyway, a jury in a New York City murder trial is frustrated by a single member whose skeptical caution forces them to more carefully consider the evidence before jumping to a hasty verdict. So that doesn't really explain all what happens. But so essentially, if you're unfamiliar with American justice system, somebody kills another guy or is accused of it, they go on trial, and there's a jury there of like 12 random people who are American citizens, and they all are the ones ultimately that have to get in a room together, and all 12 of them have to be unanimous in their decision on whether the person is guilty or not guilty. So there's this 18-year-old kid who has been put on trial, and the movie takes place almost exclusively in the room where the jury is discussing the facts of the case. And originally, everybody except one person says guilty. And then the one dissenter, he says not guilty. He's played by Henry Fonda. He's juror number 8, I believe. And he says, well, hey, this is an 18-year-old kid. Let's just go through all the facts. Let's talk about it real quick just to make sure, because this guy will receive the death penalty if we find him guilty. So they want to make sure, hey, we got a guy's life in our hands. Let's make sure we do our homework. And then what follows after that is a really brilliantly written movie that talks like basically how they convince everybody in the room to say not guilty instead of guilty. So it's really, really interesting how the whole thing unfolds.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of great things to say about this movie. So yeah, so first we can talk about that. Like the dialogue in the script, I think is really well constructed in the movie. And I'm not an expert at analyzing scripts or screenplays, but I do think like when you think of a screenplay, I don't know, what do you guys think of when you think of like a script, screenplay?
Like good examples of it?
Yeah. And like what comes to mind of when like, oh, that screenplay is good. What are some things you look for to like analyze the script? Or screenplay?
I think one is like a certain level of unpredictability, because while there are like formulas in story that are kind of universal, when you're in a story and you're just wanting to see what happens, I think that's good screenplay, and not sitting there knowing like, oh, this is going to happen. Like you're just kind of not in it as much as you were if you were just to be sitting there and watching it and just really in it, almost as if like you're reading a book and you want to turn the page because you want to see what happens next. I'd say that's one thing I think about. And then another thing I think about is the dialogue. Like you can hear certain dialogue when it sounds either cliche or they're definitely reading off a script, which isn't a bad thing, but it's like when you're writing dialogue, you need to be mindful of the fact that people are going to be speaking this. Someone's not going to be reading it like a book. And so like being able to make that natural and being able to make that flow good, and maybe leave room for improv as well, depending on the story, I think is a huge part of the screenplay. And that's also something I think about, which I think this movie shines in terms of the dialogue, but I can share more on that after Jason shares.
Yeah, I mean, like, what do I think about when you say like screenplay?
What makes a movie like?
What makes
a good screenplay?
What makes a good
Or
screenplay?
script? Yeah.
The creator.
The writer.
The writer. No, I think it's kind of hard to put into words but I think when you watch a movie, you know it. I guess the best way I can describe it is like Asher said, is where it's like this isn't like a script. These are people just talking.
Yeah.
I think that's when you have a good screenplay. If you've ever seen like Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, that has like some of the best like writing of any TV show. But I think it goes beyond like the dialogue that's being written here. It's the way they're contextualizing the scene. And I think part of that is the directing too, because like they probably go off script a lot when they actually get, it's one thing writing something down and then another thing seeing it in front of you. So you change things. But I think when you watch a movie, you can just tell that it was really well written because of how like precise everything is. There isn't a lot of like, there's no wasted words. There's no wasted words. There's no wasted screen time. And again, I think part of that is the directing. It's not necessarily the screenplay, but hand in hand, a whole movie, everything has to work for it to work, right? In some fashion.
Yeah.
Not everything has to be great, but everything has to work together. So, but yeah, 12 Angry Men's a good example of it. I definitely think of a well-written movie.
Yeah,
Does that
for
make
sure.
sense?
Yeah. And I think to add to like what y'all were saying, the screenplay is kind of like the skeleton, I think, of the story.
Yeah.
Whereas like the director adds the meat and there's so many different things that are like
And there's the
organs
performances.
and the that fill out the body of it.
Yeah.
But it's like the skeletons. Like this is the guide for the movie. This is the story of the movie, and that can be enhanced by acting, or it could be brought down by acting as well. Yeah, and it's also it's story, but it's also dialogue, and I think dialogue can be a great force of helping out your movie. So I think there are some movies that have good dialogue. The story isn't great, but like the dialogue's good. There are also some movies where like the story is great, but the dialogue isn't good. And one that comes to mind in that sense is like a lot of Star Wars stuff. Like it has like a great story for a lot of like, I think that was one of my biggest things with Revenge of the Sith was like,
you like the idea.
I like the story of the movie, but I just think that the dialogue in it like brought the story down. So I think, even if you disagree, I think that's like an example of like a potential, like, hey, the screenplay is more than just the talking, but it's also more than just the story. And I think it's kind of those two things meshed into one.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you'll see like in movies, like they'll have a story credit and they'll have like a screenplay credit, So I think that there's multiple elements that go into like constructing a movie in terms of like the words that are said, the events that happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And a lot of times actors will make the screenplay better just by like saying, hey, well, I think this line could be a little different to reflect the character's, character better. So
Yeah.
I think there's a lot that goes into it. And I think, we'll get into this, like 12 Angry Men does these things really, really well.
Yeah.
I think so.
A good example of what you were saying about like the actor taking what's written and then like putting their own, flair on it is when Tom Holland is playing Spider-Man towards the end of Avengers Infinity War. And it's when it's when he's being dusted and he's delivering those lines to Tony, like, Tony, like, I don't feel so good. Like the idea was still there. He's still going to get dusted, but Tom was like, hey, can I kind of tweak this a little bit? Like I have a good idea of how I can maybe deliver this in a more like gut-wrenching way. And I mean, I think he excelled because I felt it. I was like, dude, no, don't go.
Yeah.
I think another good example is in Interstellar, I think it's Jessica Chastain who plays Murph, adult Murph. Yeah, Jessica Chastain's character. She's it's the scene where Coop is watching the adult version of her like send a message after they were on the water planet or whatever. And I don't remember what exactly she changed, but I think Christopher Nolan had it to where her character would be silent or just shut off the screen after mentioning that she's the age that her dad was when he left. Coop was when he left. But she added in a part where she turns it back on and says a little bit more stuff like like screw you, Coop, or whatever.
Yeah.
That's all Jessica Chastain. But I think like that's a really big part of that scene right there, and that kind of changes a little. It's like the same idea, but it really changes how much it hurts her character and how much it's affecting Coop's character. But like to your point, like the actors, and not saying Christopher Nolan isn't bad, right? Is bad or something but like the freedom for these people who are embodying these characters, I guess, too.
Yeah. Yeah. I think those are all really great points. And I think this movie in particular is really like dialogue, microphone adjustment. The dialogue really drives the story of and it drives the character, it drives the story. So I think, and it's a unique movie too, where it's like, there's not like a clear main character. I mean, maybe you could argue juror number 8. It's kind of like the moral, like kind of center of the movie. Yeah. And he's kind of the guy that I think a lot of people are going to empathize with. And he does kind of have this leadership role in the movie, but really like I don't know, I feel like if you compared the amount of lines, it's probably not far off. I'm like, it feels like you're just in a room with 12 distinct people. Yeah. That have various different perspectives on the situation, various different motives. And the way it's all constructed, I think, is brilliant. Like there's so like every single person, like I mentioned, feels unique. And I think the dialogue is so well written where you can understand to a degree about these characters. Like it doesn't, it's not interested in telling you the whole life story, right? You actually don't really learn that much about most characters other than just kind of like personality. I mean, there's a few characters you do learn a little bit about their stories, like juror number 3, who's kind of has a bad relationship with his son that he's trying to fix and how that drives his character. Yeah.
And I got the list here. Juror number 7, he's got a baseball game to go to.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. I like how that kind of drives how he votes. Yeah, like he as soon as like the vote starts turning to like not guilty, he's like, well, yeah, I'll just say not guilty. I'm just trying to get out of here. Yeah, and then was it the Frenchman? Was he French? It was I think he was German or French or something.
He goes off on him. He's like, how dare you vote not guilty just because you want to get out of here. Yeah, he's so good.
He's like, what are you doing? I'm on your side. Like, yeah. But I like that. I think what I really liked about it is that he didn't change his mind. Like, he didn't like go like, oh, I guess I should take this more serious. He's like, no, it's like, I don't care, dude. I want to go home.
Yeah, and then you can tell like at the end, he's like the first one that leaves the like when they finally come to a conclusion, like a consensus. He's the first one out of there, and. Yeah, I mean, not all characters are like fleshed out, but I think this is the ultimate like ensemble cast movie, and it's like everybody's important. Every character has their own tick. So jury number 1 guy, he's like the head juror. I don't know.
He's just trying to organize things.
Yeah, like he takes it upon himself to mediate. I guess.
And then juror number 2 is the. Who is he again?
He's the guy with the glasses.
Nerdy
he
guy.
Talks like this.
He's the nerd. Yeah, he's nerd. I don't know if he's the nerd guy, but yeah, he definitely is. I feel like he's. I feel like he's kind of a softer character who kind of, almost gets pushed around a little bit. Yeah.
He starts to get some more like. Puff in his chest, I guess. So when people like push back at him, or when people push at him, he starts to.
He was like, "Hey, you can't talk to me like that."
Yeah, like he starts to stand up for himself more. Yeah,
yeah, and that's also another theme that I really like is how passionate they can get in there with each other. But I feel like they almost cross a line, but they never like cross a line of losing respect for another person. Which I feel like is something that is really lost on our modern day culture, is just like being able to like be passionate about what you like want to talk about, but also not having to fear, what comes back at you the other way. So that's something that I would recommend. Like, hey, if you want to learn how to like agree and disagree with people. I don't know. I just feel like these men in this jury room were like men I looked up to in a way of like how they handled the whole situation. Not all of them. Some of them are like, all right, I wouldn't. And some guys are like being racist in the movie. Like,
one guy almost like kills juror number 8 when they're reenacting the stabbing.
Oh yeah, that was a good scene. Juror number 3 is probably like if you had to have a villain, but he really wasn't a villain. He was just like a guy that was like. He really he thought the guy was guilty. You know, he may have had some prejudice. He didn't have prejudice like juror number 9 or 10, I think it was.
Juror
number 10.
Juror number 10 was just flat out like did not trust like people from the slums at all. Which was where the murderer or the supposed murderer was from.
Yeah.
So I thought was kind of driving a lot of his psychology in the movie. Juror number 3 saw the core of like a son murdering a father, which was the situation that they were debating. Like, did this guy murder his dad? And he kind of viewed that and put his own story on that.
Yeah.
So I think there was a lot of anger and distrust. And that's why he was like, yeah, like my son treated me bad. So like, I think it's very possible that son treated his father bad. Especially if he viewed him as somebody making poor decisions in life.
He just started kind of like washing the whole youth age as the same.
And the way that the dialogue is constructed really, really, it doesn't like exposit the plot at you. I mean, all of the exposition happens at the beginning of the movie where they're like, gentlemen, it's just explaining the rules of the jury, right? Like, which is, like that was not a problem. Like all the exposition happens in the first scene. Everything else is dialogue. It just feels like just actual people talking. Yeah. And figuring this thing out. And I really like how every single detail of the case is like methodically discussed.
Yeah.
And they just get through everything. Yeah. And the movie doesn't really leave any questions unanswered, which I really liked.
Except for who the actual killer is. That's the only question I had.
Well, that's just
I know it's not the point, but
well, that's like real life trials, like if you're finding like the point of the trial isn't to figure out who else did it. It's to figure out, did you do it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's just a real thing that happens in real life. If that person gets deemed innocent, you're still left to trying to find who actually done it.
Yeah.
Which I think was neat.
But you still make a good point, Wesley, about them like covering basically all the bases.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And my favorite juror, I think, was juror number 4, he was the guy that was like
the one with like who went to the movies and had the glasses.
He seemed like he seemed like the most logical and reasonable guy on the side of guilty. I think juror number 8 obviously was logic. He was the one driving like, hey, we need to think about these things. So I feel like his foil was more so juror number 4 than number 3, because he was like the one saying he looked at the evidence, was like, oh yeah, I'm convinced now. Like I have reasonable doubt. Like we went through all the evidence that was presented, and I have doubts that this guy actually committed the murder now. And that was like that was the phrase really that they used leading up to it in the exposition part of the movie was, if you guys think that there is any sort of doubt in your mind, if you think he is guilty beyond reasonable doubt, then you say guilty. But if you have reasonable doubt, he is not guilty. That's what you should vote. So, and that's also kind of like a theme in the movie too. But I really like how, the dialogue of the movie really supports how you learn about these characters.
Yeah. Really good. Even like in the beginning when juror number 8 was the first one to raise his hand for not guilty, and like immediately like you have someone responding like, oh, there's always one. Okay, here we go. Like it's so realistic because like I can just think of the personalities, like of all the personalities I've interacted in my 20 6 years of being here on this earth. It's like that makes a lot of sense because I've met people who I know would like say that, you know, if they're in a situation like that, you know, and so even when they're not sharing something about themselves, with the way they say something is like, okay, I already know how this character is going to be for this movie. But I think the one character that I don't know about misjudged, but I think the one character that kind of kept me guessing for a little bit in terms of like where is this character coming from? What are his motives? Was juror number 8. Because in the beginning, like he's the one who's shown not talking to anyone. He's just staring out the window. And at first I'm like, I wonder what's up with this guy. Like, is he just antisocial? Is he just, you know, very introverted? Or is he like depressed or something? So I think they did a good job of like having a level of mystery to him. Because that's what it felt like for me. And like as he started to interact with the other guys, you start to learn more of like his motive, where he's at, and like the type of person he is.
Yeah.
I think it was because like he could read the room, and like he already knew. Maybe he already knew like he was about to like maybe he already felt like he was the only one who wasn't convinced by the trial.
That's a really good point.
Yeah, and I think he represents the ideal way that men should talk, like the way that men should go about their lives. Just think like, don't let sharp emotions get in the way of clear thinking, especially when somebody's life is at stake, right?
Yeah.
Like he was the calm and collected voice of reason that group needed.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that is difficult to do, you know, when you get really emotional. And, you know, like juror number 3 kind of represented the opposite of that, like somebody who wasn't thinking clearly. Juror number 10 as well. You know, he wasn't really thinking that clearly because, yeah, he had his own personal bias going into it, and he allowed that to cloud his judgment. And I like how the movie unfolds that in his character. It doesn't reveal it to you right away. You get glimpses of it in a realistic way. Like, you know, I feel like sometimes in movies, like when you first see a character, it's like, oh, here's everything you need to know about this character.
Yeah.
Like, what was that from the Suicide Squad or whatever?
Katana.
Don't get killed by her or something.
Her sword, otherwise your soul get
now
trapped in it.
that's an extreme example. Like that's kind of ridiculous. I bring that up, but you know, it's just like, yeah, it's like the way that they reveal things over time, you know, and the way they methodically go through each fact of the case that's presented, and the way they all gradually get debunked one by one. I think is, it's just it's like a masterwork in terms of pacing and storytelling.
They treated you like you were the creators. Yeah, they treated you like you were the 13th person in the room.
Yeah,
you're not given any like inside scoop. Like you're in there to figure it out with everyone else and to just kind of endure through it.
I think one of the best scenes, to be honest, is honestly the only scene, or there's 3 scenes that don't take place in the jury room, and one of them is in the bathroom that's within the like deliberation room. It's him in there with with juror number 7, I believe, baseball guy.
Yeah,
and he's just like, he asked him, he's like, what are you doing this for? Like, why are you doing this? Do you really think he's innocent or something, or what are you getting out of this? And juror number 8 is just like, well, I don't know if I think he's innocent or not. What I do know is I'm not convinced he's guilty. I'm paraphrasing heavily.
Yeah,
it's a kind of a lengthy conversation. I think that lasts a while when they're in there, but it's just a really good like scene, just showing both of those characters like reasoning, because the baseball guy just doesn't care. He's like, why are you dragging this on? Like, are you just getting a rise out of this? You know?
Yeah.
Do you have fun like frustrating all of us? Like, I don't like to him. It's almost funny because like to him, it's like it's so clear. Like, obviously the kid did it. So why are you doing this? And it's just that like Wesley is saying, it's like this microcosm, I think, of what Wesley is saying, where it's like everybody's just bought in to what they've been told by the prosecution, but they haven't thought about it. They didn't actually think about anything.
Yeah.
Whereas juror number 8 was just like he throughout the movie, not just him, other jurors come to the realizations of just like there's a lot of holes in this prosecution. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but
No, you're not rambling.
And just a few other jurors we haven't mentioned. So juror number 5, I believe, he was like one of the guys that grew up in the slums.
Yeah.
Juror number 6, I can't remember exactly his thing.
He didn't. I don't think he really had a specific thing. He was like one of the ones who weren't. He wasn't as set up much, but he started to become more involved.
he was like
He was one of the guys in the bathroom. He was the guy who came in after juror number 7 talked to juror number 8.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, when we start to know him a bit more and get more screen time with him.
He also, that's right. I combined the two in my head just then.
He doesn't get as much screen time.
He also, there's a lot of scenes where someone will say something, and even though he's still on the guilty side, he will further prod with the question. He does it like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
I think specifically at juror number 3 and number 10.
Yeah.
But definitely at number 3, I remember him. And he would defend, because he was the one who said, because juror number 3 kind of yelled at the older gentleman, juror number 9.
Yeah.
And he said, hey, you talk to him like that one more time, I will like lay you out.
Yeah. I love it. In classic, like.
And they're both, it's funny, they're both on the same side, quote unquote.
Yeah.
They both believe the kid is guilty, but he's like, you do not talk to your elder like that.
Yeah.
So he's just like a middle ground man, I guess.
Yeah. I love the way, like, it's so 1950s, the way he said it. And
Yeah.
does the movie take place in New York? I have to believe it's New York.
New York City.
Yeah.
It's so 1950s. It's so New York of him to just be like, I'm going to lay you out. You know, like, you talk to him like that one more time again, I'm going to lay you out.
Yeah. So
good.
And then, we mentioned juror number 7. He gets a lot of time. He's the kind of guy that's like wants to go to the baseball game, and he's flip floppy. He doesn't really care.
That's a great way to describe him, flip floppy.
I feel like if he lived today, he would wear flip flops.
Yes, and he would be played by Bill Murray.
He had a cool hat though.
He did.
It matched his jacket.
So, juror number 8 we talked about a lot. Juror number 9. Was the racist? Or no, he was the old guy. He was the first guy.
He was the first guy to back our boy Drew Brees.
Yeah,
and it wasn't even because he necessarily believed that the kid was innocent. It was because, well, this guy clearly strongly believes I'm going to back him up.
Yeah.
So you all don't gang up on him, so we can hear what he has to say.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really cool. It was a really like. I think he's like one of the most important characters in this movie. Mm-hmm. He doesn't get a lot of dialogue, but every time he speaks, it's like very like, I guess, pivotal to the conversation they're having.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of wisdom and insight about.
Yeah.
He brings up the way one of the witnesses is walked. One of the crucial witnesses that kind of, if you were to believe the witness, kind of condemns the kid. Mm-hmm. And he's the one, I'm pretty sure he's the one who brings up the nose pads things.
Yeah, I was about to say I think one of his shining moments for dialogue is when he's talking about the nose pads.
Which is a very real thing, by the way. I wear glasses that have nose pads on them. They do leave indents on your nose. But he's just such a cool character who, I guess I already said it. He's just really wise, like the stereotypical wise old man. But is it stereotypical from a movie in the 50s?
He wasn't super outspoken, but he was firm in his convictions.
Yeah.
And I think, And I want to bring up this quote because one thing I have on the agenda is what are some of the best quotes? Juror number 8, I think in my opinion, this is my favorite quote. So I think he's responding to the prejudice statements that juror number 3 or juror number 10 are saying. So he says, it's always difficult to keep personal prejudice out of a thing like this. And wherever you run into it, prejudice always obscures the truth. I don't really know what the truth is. I don't suppose anybody ever will know. 9 of us now seem to feel that the defendant is innocent. So this was well into the movie. But we're just gambling on probabilities. We may be wrong. We may be trying to let a guilty man go free. I don't know. Nobody really can, but we have reasonable doubt. And that is something that's very valuable in our system. No jury can declare a man guilty unless it's sure. So I think that was essentially his whole, that was the main argument from the not guilty side. They're basically like, this guy could honestly be guilty, but we don't have enough evidence, and we can't condemn a guy to death if we're not sure. Yeah. And I think that was the most valuable. That's the most valuable reflection of that, I think, in the movie.
Yeah.
And there's also a lot of other good quotes. Like I like juror number 11, the German. I think he's German.
No, 11 he's the marketing guy.
No, the marketing guy is 12.
Oh.
Yeah.
Advertising agency.
Yeah,
guy.
he was like a guy that just like seemed like uninterested.
He was more interested in sharing about his profession.
Yeah, he just wanted to talk about himself
like
the whole time.
The first time we see him really interacting with someone, he's whipping out his sketch pad and he's like, you see this rice puff cereal box? He's like, you see the slogan? I came up with that. It was some kind of catchy slogan you'll see on like a cereal box.
It's puffy.
Like he was talking about that during like the conversation, and one of the other guys was like, "Hey, like, do you mind?"
Yeah. So, juror number 11, I think, was really interesting because he seemed like he had a unique experience being an immigrant and was able to empathize in a way with the guy on trial. So, and my favorite quote from him is, he says, "I beg pardon," and then juror number 10, the racist guy. Or no, sorry. Oh yeah, so juror number 8, and so the main guy. "Let me ask you this: do you really think the boy'd shout out a thing like that so the whole neighborhood could hear him? I don't think so. He's much too bright for that." And then juror number 10 says, "Bright? He's a common ignorant slob. He don't even speak good English." The juror number 11, who has a foreign accent, said, "He doesn't speak good English." Like he corrected him.
So good.
Yeah, that was a fun line.
Yeah.
And he's also one of like the first like 4 guys that I think flips his vote.
Yeah.
And I think he was just a compassionate man who like was able to show compassion. And I think that's a lot of it. What it was let's show compassion to this guy.
Yeah.
So
I liked how he was very fascinated and involved with the legal system, being a foreigner, because coming from where he came from, he probably didn't have the same luxury, because he kind of goes off a little bit of talking about like, we have the privilege to come here together and to...
He's going off on 7. Yeah.
Yeah. To decide on something that will, bring justice, and, just the way it's set up is almost like it's a privilege to be a part of this. And I thought it was really cool just how fascinated and interested he was, because I feel like it's realistic for someone to come to America where they now get to have that privilege of something they didn't grow up with. Whereas maybe some of the other guys who grew up in America might have taken advantage of that privilege or not really given it much thought. And so I liked how they kind of depicted his character being more
appreciative
of the situation, or the opportunity, I guess. Yeah,
for sure. So let's talk about some of these like performances. So Henry Fonda plays juror number 8, and I think he's a legend. Right?
Yeah, like I'm quite fond of him.
Wow.
I couldn't. Wow. I was hitting him with the sarcastic look, but then I was like, that's gonna make me laugh.
So this is probably his most famous performance, but he's also in movies like On Golden Pond,
Once Upon a Time in the West,
The Grapes of Wrath,
Once Upon a Time in the West,
Once Upon a Time in the West,
Once Upon a Time in the East.
That's not a thing.
So, he
I
did
hadn't-
win Best Actor for On Golden Pond.
Oh yeah.
So,
What about Silver Pond?
nope, Golden.
On Frozen Pond?
Yeah. On not Frozen, Golden.
Bronze Pond?
No. Okay. Anyway, so he's kind of like the moral center of the film, calm, cool, collected.
The Bond
Has this
diggity.
like leadership role. Whereas, and I think the other standout performance for me really was Lee Cobb as juror number three.
Yeah.
He's also a legendary actor. And he, yeah, I think he has probably the most emotional performance, you know, where he, yeah, I mean, especially towards the end when he finally flips his vote. He's the last holdout. And when he finally flips his vote, like just seeing him like come to the realization of like, there's almost like regret in how his relationship with his son and how he's allowed that to affect his thinking. And he came to the point where he just like could not defend his point of view anymore. He was out of
Yeah.
evidence, and he said, all the evidence is right here. And then, you know, he has his notes, but then there's like the picture of his son, you know, and I think that was a really like clever moment in the movie. The turning point where he wasn't actually looking at his evidence. He was looking at his son.
Yeah.
Really great direction. And, yeah, I think he was probably the standout performance of the movie, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree. I mean, I think I lean a little more towards Fonda as like the most captivating. But juror number three, I don't know. I think it just says all. They're just communicating a lot with his character. I think the best thing about great movies is that they're just really relevant forever. Like the idea that someone on a jury can, like, no matter how hard we try, how truly impartial is a jury?
Yeah.
These are people who never met the kid, right? But they all have opinions and they all have a bias and they all have their own experiences that inform their decision making. And on the one hand, that's like a great thing. That's how you get people like juror number 8, you know? But then it's also how you get folks like juror number 10. And, you know, like, I know juror number 3 is quote unquote the antagonist by like the thinnest of margins. He's not arguing on behalf of malice. Whereas juror number 10 is. Juror number 10 is just like,
Yeah.
I don't like this dude. I think he's scum of the earth. And
Yeah.
I hope he does swing. And while juror number 3 makes similar comments, it's not out of a place of like just hating this kid. It's this learned experience from his own child where he just, you know, he feels like he sees himself being murdered by his son, I think. And they don't hit you over the head with this. It's just kind of like subtly implied. He's feeling something complex about it. And I just interpret it as he sees himself as the murdered father it looks like his father beat him.
Yeah.
Whereas from juror number 3's perspective, it's just the father instilling responsibility in his kid and giving him a steel spine and toughening him up. Because it sounds like he kind of beat his own son. And
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just that's a story that's going to be relevant forever. 100 years after I'm gone, there will be dads who are on juries, assuming we still have juries.
Yeah. I hope so.
There'll be dads on juries who are, going to be met with a very similar conundrum of putting a young man, do you condemn a young man to death for killing his father or killing anybody? I don't know. It's just really interesting stuff. And they're not like, they're just letting you think about it. The whole movie is just letting you think about what's going on because it's not talking about all this stuff with juror number 3 and his son. It's brought up like 3 times.
Yeah.
But I think throughout the whole movie, they just let you just see it and you think about it and you're like wondering like how does this impact his decision making? How does this impact the way he treats people? You know, I don't know. It's just really great stuff. It's just like, this is the stuff that like you watch movies for.
This is the stuff movies are made of.
Yeah. And I think just as a full cast, nice. As a full cast, I think they all brought it, you know. I think everybody brought their own unique angle to each character. And yeah, I think everybody, like, their personalities that were written for them, I think were really brought to life in a meaningful way. So, well, yeah. Shout out to also juror number 7. I think he had a big role in the movie.
Yeah.
So,
well, I kind of wanted to touch on 10 a little bit more because he is a little. I think maybe he's a little 2-dimensional with the whole. I don't know if it's racism or classism, but it's somethingism.
Juror number
maybe
10,
both.
Ed Begley.
Ed Begley. His character at the end of the movie, like throughout the movie, he's just like kind of arguing this point of, like I said earlier, this guy just sucks. We should kill him, let him swing, put him to the chair. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're kind. And I don't know. At the end of the movie, he has this big rant where I guess he like loses it.
Yeah.
And
that was a great scene.
And he's like going on this tirade about this, that, and the third. And none of it has to do with really the facts of the case for the most part. He brings some stuff up, but it's more like, of course he did it. Yeah. All of his kind would do it. You know, and again, I don't know, because they show us the kid at the very beginning of the movie and he looks American, but classism or something, racism or another. He just has this hatred for these people, this subset of people. And as he's like yelling about it, having this tirade, everybody kind of turns their back on him. Even people who agree that the kid is guilty near the end of the movie. And I don't know if he has a realization or maybe he just accepts he's defeated or what, but he just, I do think he kind of realizes that literally no one else in the room feels or thinks the way he does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this kind of maybe acceptance that he might be wrong.
Yeah.
It's not explicit.
Yeah.
It's not like all of a sudden he's morally better or something. But he goes, literally the rest of the movie, he goes, sits by himself in a corner, seemingly thinking about maybe contemplating that like his whole worldview just could be wrong. And he's an older man. He's at, like maybe kind of confronted with this idea that his entire worldview has just been wrong.
Yeah. And his he differed from juror number 3, and like his reason for saying guilty was more based in like personal prejudice towards like poorer people, rather than juror number 3 had more to do with his son. But there was some overlap there.
Yeah.
But he was. Yeah, but that scene where they all turned away while he was spouting off his nonsense, his hate, I thought that was a powerful scene for sure, and like how you could see it all unfold, and it wasn't even like a edited shot. It was just like
as he's
fixed
talking
in like one corner of the room, and you could see everybody, and
Yeah.
as they one by one gradually like turned around and faced away from him. That was a powerful scene.
Did some of them just stay at the table but just ignore him? I feel like there were a few that
One or
just
two
stayed
did,
at
I
the
think.
table.
But they were kind of like turning their heads.
Yeah.
They weren't looking at him.
Yeah,
They wouldn't address him.
yeah. That was once I really enjoyed that scene, but I already shared it with you guys. I might be in the minority on this, but I feel like it could have been a bit less staged, because there came a point where I started realizing everyone was going to either turn their back or just like turn their ear from him. And so it kind of started to feel a little staged come like the fifth man. Like the first 3 or 4 guys, I was like, okay, I can really see this happening in a room. But then it kind of just was like, all right, now's your cue to turn. Now's your cue to turn. So I wish it would have been a little bit more organically performed, I guess.
Yeah. I think it's for a movie that's super like realistic and like we're literally just watching them deliberate in real time, more or less. It's like one of the only instances of like symbolism where, and I don't know if it's like really meant to be symbolism or what, but I just saw it as like a symbolic of we are turning away from this. This is not what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will not acknowledge you. I won't look at you. You have no place to stand
Yeah.
on this matter anymore, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just a very symbolic, like justice. I don't even know. Maybe I'm overcomplicating things in my head, giving things meaning that don't exist. But it's just like this personification of this isn't what justice looks like. So we're not going to acknowledge you anymore.
Justice looks like
Justice. Batman does not show up in this movie, as far as we know.
He would if they made a movie about finding the actual killer.
Vengeance. Batman makes sure it doesn't go to the jury.
I heard you had someone not guilty. That means the killer is still out there.
Have you seen those videos of like the guy who's like he orders like a cup of water or something
He gets soda.
from Taco Bell and then he like fills it up with Sprite and then Batman shows up, he's like, it's a bad day to be a criminal. He just like beats him up.
So funny.
Totally unrelated to 12 Angry Men, but yeah, so let's talk about Sidney Lumet in his direction here. So this was his debut, and boy, oh boy, this was a really well-directed movie. Mm-hmm. And
Wonder what it feels like to peak on your first try.
I think that
Let's ask him.
I think it's well-directed in two main ways, and I think that there's probably more to this, but I think it was really well-directed in sense of like strategic placement of like, blocking is what it's called. And how, I mean, this is also like treads in the cinematography world too, but how he set up his shots strategically and how they added to the meaning of the scene. There's one scene where I think juror number 3 is spouting off something that seems a little sketchy, like you're just emotional right now.
Yeah.
And then you could see like everybody else just kind of like bunched up looking at him.
Yeah,
but he
dude.
seems separate from them, and they're like kind of
That's
looking
when he
down on
attacked
him.
juror number 8. That's when he like ran at him.
Yeah, because juror number 8 basically finally just
Rage
told
baited.
him how it is.
Yeah, and it was just there's many moments like that where the blocking really enhances the scene.
Yeah.
And it's not something that maybe you think about a whole lot, but I think if you don't have stuff like that, the movie just seems less interesting. It seems a little less meaningful. And it just adds to it. Like kind of like I was talking about earlier, like the script being like the skeleton of the movie. I feel like the director adds a lot of the flesh to it and the meat of it. And I think blocking had a big part to do with that. And the other way I think this is a really great and well-directed movie is kind of like the claustrophobic feel the movie
heat,
has.
It feels warm.
There's the heat aspect where it's like a really hot day and the fan isn't working, right? So it eventually does work when they turn the light on later because it was attached to the switch. But so they're opening the windows, they're all sweating, having to take their jackets off. They need a bathroom break because it's so hot, And I think that adds to like this feeling where they're like, maybe they're in hell or like this, sort of like really uncomfortable situation, talking about something really uncomfortable. And it feels claustrophobic, and it all takes place in one room, except when there is a scene in the bathroom. But other than that, in like the exposition scene at the beginning, and they're not in there. But
And then the ending.
the ending scene,
But,
there's
like-
like maybe 3 scenes that are not in there, and they're short scenes. So
The patty of the burger is in that room.
yeah, it's very simple, like production design. Yes, the patty of the burger, simple production design, but I think it's exceptionally directed for how small of a scale movie it is.
Yeah.
And I think Lumet really gets the most out of every shot. Which I mad respect in that. And also it's an emotional movie, and I think he does a great job of managing all the different actors and getting the emotion out of the actors too.
Yeah. From a technical standpoint too, just with it being mainly in that one room, I think for it being his directorial debut, that's playing into like him, like he didn't necessarily go out and say, all right, I want to make this epic of a movie where we have 5 locations, we have all of these different characters and environments and lighting conditions. He just like kept it really simple because like they were they were in just like on a very controlled set.
Yeah.
They had same lighting except whenever they would change it for when it started raining and stuff like that. And you know, I don't know if it seems like they kind of manipulated lighting for certain shots like throughout the story, but overall, like he had a controlled environment, and that's one less thing to like spend more time on, and to spend that time more on the characters instead, you know. And so keeping it simple, I think, was a really smart move. Like, it's not, you don't have to do that for it being like your first directorial debut, but it really does help, you know, to just keep it simple and make that really, what am I trying to say? Just like make what you do have shine. Like just yeah. I want to end it that better, but it's okay.
It's we can get that. We can get that.
Period. Semicolon.
This might be like leaning a little bit more toward the cinematography side of things, but
which the cinematography is by Boris Kaufman, by the way.
Boris Kaufman.
Yeah, but there's a lot of like long tracking shots in the movie. Like it opens after, like when they enter the deliberation room.
Yeah. I mean, a lot. Yeah, that is like direction. Like that. Yeah, a lot of that is on the director.
So it opens when they open, like after they leave the courtroom, after the judge is like, "Hey, kill this guy or not," and they go to the deliberation room. The camera, it literally, as we were watching the movie, I'm like, "Well, they haven't cut once," and then they cut to the start of them sitting down.
Yeah.
Which there's a long tracking shot of all of them filing into the room, and the camera moves around a bunch during all that. It's behind the fan, which if you've never seen the movie, it's like kind of in the center roof of the room, center like top wall, like up here. If this were the jury room, and it kind of, I think it goes down to the right where juror number 8 is at the window, and then it goes to the left around the table.
Yeah,
and just moves back and forth a little bit. And then, I mean, but that's not the only instance. Throughout the movie, there's just really long periods of the film where they do not cut at all. It's just following characters move around the room. There's this instance where they're trying to recreate how long it would take for somebody to cross their apartment. And it shows them setting up the chairs and putting up these props and then following him walking back and forth to represent the amount of time it might have taken for this certain witness to have crossed their apartment. And there's not a single cut. And it's all like really good. And I think the main reason I bring it up is it makes you feel like, to Asher's point earlier, is like you're the 13th juror here.
Yeah.
You feel just as claustrophobic as everyone else. You feel like you're in the movie. You feel like you're a part of this experience. And I don't know about you guys, but like I'm debating the evidence myself too. I'm like, what would I do in this situation?
Yeah.
You know, not having been through the trial, of course, but just like through each step, they bring up everything that's going on, and you're just like, you feel like you're sitting there. And as they get up and move around the room for all these other things, you're walking with them. And it's all from the camera and the director. Like, imagine if it... Now, I think you could do some pretty crazy stuff with a camera that doesn't move, right? A static camera. But for this movie, for this specific setting, I just think about how much do you lose when you don't have any of that? You know, what if the camera was sitting up there behind the fan the entire movie? Like, you just lose entire moments, I think.
Yeah, and I'm a big fan of long takes.
Yeah.
In oneers. Like, for one, I think it's impressive. Like, I think it's impressive filmmaking that you can capture all of that. But for me, it feels like I'm getting the most out of what I'm watching.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like it's just, I'm watching more movie, if that makes sense. So, like, when you have the quick edit style, this camera's focused on character A, this camera's focused on character B. This person talks, camera cuts to them. This person talks, cuts to them. That's fine and perfectly valid filmmaking. I'm not saying that's bad. What I like, though, about having maybe like a wider shot of both of them talking and just letting the scene play out, I feel like it allows the actors to do more I feel like it allows them to be able to react. You're able to view the scene it from a holistic perspective. And there's times that you can use claustrophobic cinematography, close-ups. Like, I don't think close-ups are bad at all. I'm just saying, when you use long takes effectively, it feels like you're getting the most out of what you're watching. And we've seen this like from, older movie. I think it's more common filmmaking practice at the time. I think a lot of it had to do with like budgetary constraints. Like, you can't have like all these different cameras set up. Maybe that's it. I could be wrong. But it feels like an older style of filmmaking is to just let the camera roll and let these star actors act.
Yeah.
But also, I think, I just appreciate, I appreciate that older style of filmmaking. And we see it today, too. Like, even like James Gunn movies. Like, James Gunn likes to use them. Like, he used one in like Guardians 3, I think. Did he use one in Superman? Oh, yeah, with the Mr. Terrific scene. So, I mean, you'll see it like this kind of filmmaking in a lot of different styles
in
of
Weapons,
movies.
there was a lot of like, where the camera's just rolling. And long takes are typically
Associated with more like pretentious movies. But I disagree. Like, I don't think that makes it pretentious. I just think that means you have a director who has meticulously planned out a scene and put a lot of detail and effort into it. So,
I think people can treat it pretentiously, but I don't think that's the case for everyone. Like you're saying, and it's a matter of what's the purpose of the oneer, and like what are we trying to convey through it, and I'm trying to think, isn't there like a good oneer in Dunkirk? When
there's quite
kind of in the beginning.
there might be.
So in the opening of the movie, they're running away from Germans, like shooting at them, and they're trying to get to the beach. That's all one take.
Chris Nolan isn't usually a big oneer guy. He's usually very fast paced. Like, his films are usually edited really like quickly, which is fine. Like, I love Christopher Nolan. That's just his filmmaking style.
I'm just trying to think. So like, I guess you haven't seen Tenet. There's a couple of, I don't know if you can call them oneers, but there's a lot of good like long takes in that movie. And technically it's edited because it's showing things in reverse. So like, I don't know, is it really in one take? I don't know. It beats me. But
well, I mean, he uses like, I'm thinking of The Dark Knight when like they flip over the truck, especially to like show off the big spectacle moments. I feel like he'll let the camera run a little bit.
The actors for Tenet, or at least what's the main guy's name?
John David Washington.
Yeah. I saw that they learned how to perform certain things in reverse.
Right. They did.
For certain things.
They did. So they aren't actually, they're just straight up doing that in real life for something.
It's like a mixture. Like, that movie had a mixture, like, because some stuff was in reverse while other stuff was not in reverse in the same shot, and it's mind-boggling. So I think they did a lot of various techniques.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Back to 12 Angry Men.
Yeah. So that is definitely something used. And I noticed that too, like in It's a Wonderful Life, when we deep dived that back in last December. You should check out that episode.
Check it out.
It was a similar thing where they're just like, hey, here's Jimmy Stewart. Let's just throw the camera at him and let him do his thing.
I mean, honestly, I think it's a byproduct, not saying it's not intentional, but it's also a byproduct of shooting on film. You just like, you can't waste it.
Yeah. And I will say that 12 Angry Men is directed a lot different than It's a Wonderful Life. I think this one, 12 Angry Men is a lot more tightly directed. It's a lot more like
there aren't any editing mistakes like in It's a Wonderful Life.
Well, or in 12 Angry Men, yeah. I think there's a lot more intentionality, or at least I notice a lot more intentionality with how
it's also
12 Angry Men is directed. Now, not to say that It's a Wonderful Life isn't well directed. I think it's just directed differently. And this seems like a really tightly woven and like there's not a lot of room for like, I don't know, outside of like what the director was specifically planning, So anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of great like filmmaking craft things too. Like we've already talked about cinematography and how they accomplished that. Sound was interesting. there was a score to the movie, but I feel like it was pretty sparse
Yeah.
throughout. Most of the dialogue scenes were just no sound, no score.
Yeah.
I don't know how important the sound design really was. I think the use of silence is probably important.
Yeah, I mean, maybe like the ambient noise of like the rain, and then I know you were saying you think it kind of got a little too loud with the rain. But like the ambient noise of the rain, just papers and chairs kind of shuffling around.
The fan.
Intermittently, guys lighting up
Yeah.
their cigarettes. Small stuff like that. And part of it's like, is it intentional or is it just, I mean, you can't help it. You're going to pick up.
Yeah.
Like I know the smoking's intentional, right? They directed that like you're smoking in this scene, but like hearing them spark it up, like how much is that is like just a byproduct of like, well, what are you going to do? Not record that? Not, you know,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Part of it's just like, yeah, it makes it feel like a real jury room.
Yeah.
Real place.
I think that the editing too, like the editing is really good.
Oh yeah.
Just like how careful it is. I think it's not like a fast paced edited movie, but it's one that like edits into exactly what the director wants you to see at the perfect time. And I think it's just hard to pace a movie like this and make it effective, you know, knowing when to switch the camera angle or whatever, switch the shot.
I will say, whenever juror number 9 spoke, or a couple of times when he spoke, they kind of like cut into his face. It really makes me wonder if they had to reshoot his lines or something, because it's not like bad or out of place, but it just feels like a little different from how everyone else was shot.
Yeah, juror number 9, I feel like he does have close-ups in the movie, which
Very
not
close.
a lot of other actors
the other
had that.
actors get close-ups, or some of them, but they're not close in their face. Like it's like you can still see me and Asher next to each other when we're zoomed in on Asher.
Juror number 9's nose basically was touching the lens a
Yeah.
couple times. Like it was right there in front of him.
because no other character really gets that.
Well, see, that makes me think either it's really intentional on their part to isolate him
Probably
completely,
intentional.
or they reshot some of his lines and they had to do it in post.
Well, I feel like they wouldn't do a striking close-up just to do that. Maybe they would. I don't know. But
Well, imagine if you can't get the other guys back on set. You have no choice.
It seemed intentional when they first did it.
When he announces it, right?
That he was the
seemed
one
very intentional.
non-guilty vote.
because it was like, boom, surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It actually wasn't the guy you thought it was. It was a different guy that had switched his vote.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when he was delivering his lines about the eyeglasses, the indentations on the nose, what was cool about that scene was that the shot on him was, the camera was lower than him. And so we were kind of slightly, if I remember correctly, we were slightly looking up at him. And what I like about that is it's giving off this sense of authority, because we're looking up to him. He knows what he's talking about. He knows he's right in this situation when he's talking about the indentations on the nose. And he knows by the time he's done talking to juror number 4, he's like, yeah, I got him in the bag when I'm done talking about this.
Yeah,
it was so good.
Those close-ups, I think, definitely did give him a sense of authority or like wisdom, and
Maybe, yeah, like maybe it is just like this sense of like whatever he's saying is like truth.
But you do make a good point. Like, I can also see some of those shots maybe being because they had to bring him back in.
I just think it's like it happens like one more time than I kind of expected it to fit
Yeah, I get that.
in the context of the film.
I don't want to believe that though.
I'm
Like, I
not
don't think that's-
complaining. I'm not nitpicking. I just think it's peculiar. Whereas like I see how like the first time it's brought up, and I see how like with the nose pads thing that it's very relevant to what's going on there. But there are like one or two more scenes of him talking where it's in his face, and it like I'm not entirely sure like why. And maybe I just need to watch it a third time and really like look at it.
It's a movie that I feel like is just really entertaining, so you could watch it again. You know,
Yeah.
it's a fun movie too. Like it's really interesting.
Yeah.
Maybe like knowing how it ends up. But I mean, you could say that about any movie. Like knowing how it ends up may take away from your rewatchability. But this one there's a lot to break down in it, and there's also a lot of details that I want to know now that I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
So
And it was funny too. like there were some comedic moments, whether or not they were trying to be comedic or not. Like I like when juror number 7 finally got the fan on and he started crumpling up paper and throwing it in the fan, just having fun. And the ball of paper bounced off the fan and hit the old man in the face or on the head. And like the way they cut that was quite comical because like it hits the fan, cut, old man, paper hits old man on the head, old man turns his head, he's like, well, that's quite stupid of you to do.
Well, there's also this scene at the very beginning. I don't know if it's juror number 3. I think it's 3. But he's talking about kids these days. And I think that's only funny today because that's just the same thing people talk about today. It's like, those kids these days. They have no respect. Yeah. They're irresponsible. And it's just, I think I laughed when we were watching it, like I audibly chuckled because it's just like an eternal like complaint of society is like the kids these days. Even
They just don't understand.
Even in the Bible, there's like this wicked generation.
Even though it's like
it's not really talking about kids there, but
the people that say kids these days are probably the ones that raised those kids. So it's
Dude,
like,
for
that's
real.
always been my pushback. It's like you guys know, like as a collective, you are the ones who raised.
You guys
these children.
can't complain about the generation that you raised. Whatever.
But I just thought it was funny because like in that time, I think it's like a real critique or commentary or to show like this character. Whereas today, it's like things haven't really changed that much. Mm-hmm. Things are different, but things are also the same.
Yeah.
I love when, I think it was juror number 3 as well, when juror number 8 was talking about something and juror number 3 and I think number 12 were playing tic-tac-toe.
Yeah.
And juror number 8 stops what he's saying. He walks over and just rips their paper and crumples it and throws it away. Like, can you please actually have some respect and be present? And then the nerve of juror number 3 to say, the nerve of this guy. Come on. Like, really? Like,
load of this guy.
Like, really him? I think it's you, buddy. That's so funny. It's just cool because I love how accurately blind some of the characters are.
Yeah.
When their frustrations is kind of like minuscule compared to their actual problems and their flaws.
Yeah, for sure. And I think we can kind of, this kind of leads into our discussion of like, what is the movie trying to say, And I think a big part of it is a lot of us can have really strong convictions, but we're unwilling to, listen to like what other people are trying to say. And that's one of the lessons that I think I've been trying to learn. It's like, how can I listen to others? And maybe that sounds really cheesy, but
I get you.
It's like everybody's got a story, everybody's got their own life experiences that are going to be different than yours. And it's just hard to waver, especially if because there's so much encouragement to be confident to be who you are, be confident in who you are. And a lot of times, I think that's good. I don't oppose that message. I'm just saying if you're overconfident, it harms your ability to think clearly, to be able to have an honest discussion about things.
Yeah.
And I think that's what happens with juror number 3. That's what happens with juror number 10. They just don't really want to listen. And I think juror number 4 was a good example, right? Like I mentioned earlier, he did listen and he compiled the evidence, and he didn't really make up his mind, or he didn't change his mind until
every single one of those
points. He was convinced. He made juror number 8 do the work of convincing him.
Yeah.
But he listened. He didn't get up and yell vitriol. He was just you got to convince me because I see some pretty compelling evidence that he could be guilty.
Yeah.
That's who I would want to be. That's who I would want to imitate.
Yeah.
Be somebody that it's strong in his convictions, but also is willing to change his mind about things. And that's a hard thing to do, is humility, changing your mind.
Yeah.
And 12 Angry Men is a good lesson in that. Learn to change your mind, because it quite literally could save somebody's life.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying every situation we go out throughout our day is that extreme of like we have somebody's life in our hand. We have to change our mind about something or they die, but I think even on a small scale, that's helpful and beneficial for society.
And even I think it does a good example of, portraying not to be underconfident, because then if you're underconfident, then you're just going to be swayed by others and you're not really going to have the proper conviction that you need to be like an actual influence.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and maybe I've echoed this already, but just like one of the themes or ideas that kind of make this movie timeless is just the complexity of people. And I think you brought it up, is just like how different everyone's perspectives are. And I think the movie just does such a good job with all these people who really, they're kind of boiled down to really simple, like, not caricatures, because they're a little deeper than that, but they're also not like in-depth character analysis of Robert J. Oppenheimer or whatever.
Yeah.
Like a documentary or a biography is, or I'm losing my train of thought. My point is like through these men, we just kind of get a really good idea of the complexity of people and how, just how much things aren't like, I'm going to sound super cliche, just how much things aren't black and white necessarily. And it's just, I think about how absolutist we are with things. Like literally they're debating, this guy can only be two things. He's either innocent or he's guilty. And that is true. He either did it or he didn't. But when you nuance it a little bit, it's like, well, he was beaten by his dad, so maybe his dad deserved it, had it coming. Or they lived in a rough neighborhood, so like someone else could have possibly did it. It's just, but we want to categorize things and it's either or,
Yeah.
Either this kid is a terrible person, therefore he had to have done it, or he's poor, therefore he had to have done it. Mm-hmm. It's like this idea, but then they go and explore. It's like, just because he's a poor person or grew up in a rough neighborhood does not make him a murderer, But we don't want to think like that. It's too hard. It's a lot easier. It's like, he grew up poor in a rough neighborhood. Well, of course he murdered his dad. I mean, look at those people. Yeah, don't take that out of context.
Make sure you clip that into a short, into a reel, so we can share that.
And it's just like, I see that every day. I see that in my own. I do the same thing. It's just like, I'm so either or about things, when it's more like I'm actually like 30 different flavors of whatever my opinion are of something. Yeah. And it's like, you ever change your mind on something and somebody's like, oh, I thought you believed this. And I was like, well, actually, I'm in a different spot in my life. Yeah. Therefore, I think differently, or I learned something new.
Yeah.
Or
I was Rocky Road, but you know what? I'm mint chocolate chip now. Or
this assumption that like, because you have one belief, you obviously believe this second thing. And it's like, no, I do not. Like with Star Wars, the simplest one is like, you like some Star Wars movies, therefore you must like all of them. And I'm like, no, that's not true. I mean,
I actually don't like more than I do like.
Yeah, but and that's like very simple terms. But you can. I'm not trying to talk out, on more, spicier, hot topic things like hot button issues. But that's just how the world is, and it's just refreshing, I guess, to see like even like just a movie that just kind of is like, hey, like we don't have to be this way. I guess.
Yeah.
We don't have to be argumentative or either or. It's a little bit more complex than that.
Yeah. It's like a balance of having convictions, but also being open to changing those convictions should you need to, and but I think even those convictions can be subservient to like the greater principles that you subscribe to in life,
Yeah.
So if you are prescribing to principles of like prejudice, that's going to develop convictions like, hey, I think this guy's guilty, and I've already deemed him guilty based off of the principles I have in my life. So I think it's good to have like a good foundation of like beliefs and principles, and that will help you have more productive conversations that will help you be able to see more clearly. So, yeah. And I think that was something that juror number 8 represented. He seemed like a guy that was just like, he cared about human life. Like he didn't want somebody innocent to die because he thought that was bad. Like I don't want somebody to be wrongly killed.
Yeah.
You know. So let me abide by that principle and make sure we do our due diligence. He didn't never said like, oh, I'm 100% convinced he's innocent. Like he never said that. But he said if we have reasonable doubt, we can't send this guy to the electric chair. You know.
I think it's also like really, I don't know if they don't really say it, but this idea is like the whole point of having a justice system is so that we don't just murder people.
Yeah.
It's like we're here to be above what we're debating, I guess.
And yeah, the justice system obviously is not perfect, but I do think like
In a perfect
if you
world.
understand why it's there, I think you can appreciate it for what it is.
Yeah.
I guess it also, you know, you always see like real life cases
Yeah.
where all we have is whatever the media posted. And I just think about what if this was a real case? How would we perceive the kid
Yeah.
outside? Because we weren't we didn't even see the trial. The trial, you know, nobody goes back and actually reads the transcripts of trials, believe it or not. I mean, people do that, but like realistically, who's going and reading, sometimes trials go on for like hundreds of hours. So who's going and reading every single detail of evidence and stuff and observing it? No, we just like, oh, it seems like he would kill this guy, so therefore he probably did it. And now we hate him. And then when he gets off, all of a sudden we think, oh, the justice system failed or he's stupid. Now, I'm not saying the justice system doesn't fail. It most certainly does. But how often are we so quick to just assume things without, it's like I'm really quick to think like, man, those 12 stupid people. You let this guy go?
12 Stupid Men.
Yeah.
The sequel.
And I just think that, I don't know. I think oftentimes there's just a lot more going on than we expect or perceive.
Yeah. So let that be a message to everybody.
Don't take it from us. Just watch the movie and
just,
you tell me what you think.
I think it's important. Yeah. Just value life.
I do think that. Okay, do take that from us.
We're all
killing people is bad.
We're all human beings, and let's give everybody their fair shake. Like before we pass judgment. I think
like salt.
Exactly. So, any final thoughts or like favorite moments you want to share before we wrap this up?
I don't know if this is a favorite moment, but this is a notable detail for me. The way every character reacted to the heat was interesting. Some people seemed to not really be fazed by it. They still sweated. Some sweated more than others. One guy evidently doesn't sweat.
Oh, but then he did sweat when he realized.
When he's being confronted.
Yes, that's right.
That was a great detail.
That's right.
Yeah. He did sweat when he realized, I can't say he's guilty
bested.
anymore.
Yeah. And
or that was when he was like being questioned about
the movies, remembering the movies,
like,
and remembering the day before that and the day before that.
Can you remember all the movies you watched?
Yeah. And then he's like, juror number 8 says, and you weren't under any pressure, were you? And juror number 4 is like, no.
Bead of sweat.
That was a really great detail.
Yeah. But it was just interesting to see how the guys who were quick to judge and quick to come to a more aggressive form of communication were also like more like animated in their reaction to the heat. Like they were flapping their jackets, like trying to adjust all the time,
using papers to fan themselves.
Like it was just interesting to see how different characters responded to the heat. Just something simple like that, because from juror number 8's side of things, if you just watched a movie with him in it, that room, like you might not even know it's hot in there. Like he didn't really seem to be bothered by it, nor did I think juror number 9 and maybe a few other guys. So it was just interesting, just like a subtle detail like that, So notable detail for me.
Yeah. Great.
I also did see the camera's shadow twice in the movie, so that was kind of fun.
Worst
Movie ruined.
ever. Wow.
Unwatchable.
It just
Can't
makes
recommend
it.
it.
It's fun, like in a way, because like it probably wasn't something they were intentionally trying to do, but it just makes me think about their intentionality and like how much time and effort was put into making it. So as much as it might have been like a little mishap or just a little, what do you call it? A little goof. It was still something that made me respect the movie, So
great movie to recommend. I mean, I would recommend it to
literally everybody.
Your whole family to watch together. I think it could be a good movie to watch with your kids and just teach them life lessons through it. It's also like there are like businesses and stuff that will literally show this movie to their employees as like a team building exercise.
That's really smart.
That is known to happen. So
I watched it in like for my economics class or something, or history class. I don't know. I watched it in high school. That's how I first saw the movie.
Yeah, so I definitely recommend it. We got to give this thing a rating.
We got to rate it.
Do you have any last
thoughts before rating?
I mean, no. I think we said our piece. I mean, it's a really good movie. I do think everybody should watch it. If you ever read my Letterboxd reviews, which only like 2 people do, but if you do read them, at the end of every movie, I give it a whether or not you should watch it. And this is certainly a must watch.
And follow Jason.
No
on
qualifiers.
Yeah. His Letterboxd is in the show notes. It always is.
Mine is too, but I'm lazy. I don't write reviews. I just rate the movies on the stars.
Well, hey, he gives it a vibe. You can get his vibes from it.
So,
which we got to do a shout out before we end tonight. So I remember
we should have done that. That was
our shout out of the day, I guess, is my my new coworker. I got a new job.
Shout out to
and I talked to my coworker
shout out to your
about my podcast. And his name is Chris. So shout out to Chris. He just subscribed to their YouTube channel.
Yo. Thank you, Chris.
I hope you listen. If you're listening, Chris, shout out to you, bro. I'll see you at work on Monday.
So were you like
this episode's gonna come out after Monday?
It'll come out on a Sunday though. It'll come out on a Sunday.
So a Monday to come.
Whatever. I'll see you the next business day.
Did you walk up to him and like, you like movies?
Well, I can't remember exactly.
You like movies?
We were just talking about.
You like jazz?
We were talking about movies for a good probably 20 minutes.
Baller.
Nice.
Because we're plumbers, so like we have to drive to and fro houses all the time, so we have a lot of chatting time.
Nice,
dude. So, perfect movie discusser friend.
Yes, exactly. So shout out to Chris. Asher, what's your word?
My word is immersive out of 10.
Immersive out of 10.
Yeah.
You want to point out how that's unique, Wesley, again? You want to point that out again?
What's unique?
You did that last time. You're like, that's a new word, Asher. Even though he gives us a new word all the time.
Oh, yeah. He gives us a new word all the
time. So I think it's already been stated why I'm giving it that just through our conversation. But just to drive it home, I just felt like I was there. I felt like I was the 13th member, and I was like very much engaged. I wanted to hear juror number 8's side of things when we found out he was the one voting not guilty at first, and I really did want to see how things panned out, and I wanted to hear these points made, and I just even felt like I was there through the conversations, even when they weren't necessarily directly related to the case. Like just certain conversations about, hey, I got these baseball tickets, I got the game today, or, he's, hey, see this picture of my son, like just things that were character building, and also just things that filled the movie with these personalities. Because I just felt like, yeah, this is how conversations would go in a room like this with these type of men. So I just felt very real, and I felt like I was there. So hopefully that helps just drive home the fact that it's an immersive out of 10 for me.
Awesome.
Jason?
I'm going to give it the ever elusive 9.5 out of 10.
Oh, okay.
9.5 out
Ever
of 10.
elusive.
That's a great
Yeah.
score.
Yeah, it is as close to perfect as you can get with the movie.
Yeah.
Like I don't even think I'm exaggerating when I say it's like a masterpiece of.
And it's been called that for almost 70
Yeah.
years. So, I mean, you're not in the minority here.
I think on top of it just being like really good, it's so easy to watch. It's very digestible. It's a really short movie too. Like a lot of what you consider masterpieces, like 2001: A Space Odyssey or Casablanca or something like that. Those are hard movies to watch for some people. This is something I feel like anyone could sit down and they would enjoy it.
Yeah.
And I think that's what makes it, kind of better than some of those other movies, even though I think they're equally as like great. Because this is just if you wanted me to recommend a movie to show to someone like how much you can do with a camera and, a dozen or so great actors
Yeah.
and a nice script, like how far you can go with it and how much you can accomplish, I think this is what you show them. I don't know, 9.5 out of 10. You have to watch it.
Nice. Amazing. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a 10 for me, dog.
Woo!
Like, I just...
Is that your first 10 on the show? Or did
No,
we
I
do
gave
two?
Incredibles a 10.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Did you give Wonderful Life a 10?
I think I did.
I think I gave. Did I? I hope
think
I gave
I
that a
did.
9.5.
I think
I
I
hope I
gave
give
it a
it-
10.
We need to continue to keep up with our ratings.
I'll go back and
It's, yeah.
like spreadsheet them.
Ooh.
I gave Captain America Brave New World a 10. No, I'm just kidding. I did not. I forget what I gave that. Like maybe a
gave that movie
5.
like
I think I gave that a 5.
Really? I think I
Out of
gave it like a
10.
3 or a 4. Anyways, we're talking about good movies.
so-
a good movie today.
Yeah. I think it's a 10. Like I don't have any like complaints with it. I think it's one of those movies that is timeless. I really, really highly recommend watching this movie. I mean, it's a movie that I think can inspire people. I think it can move people emotionally and get them thinking about their own lives in a powerful and meaningful way. And I think that's something beautiful accomplished by all of the people involved with this film almost 70 years ago. It's 68 years. And the strange thing is this movie didn't even make a profit. It didn't make that much money, but
Really?
it's been the subject of many film bro discussions over the years, and we were just adding one more to it. So anyway, yeah, highly recommend it. So yeah, we'll be back soon. There's a certain sci-fi movie coming out in a month, less than a month now.
Yeah.
The sequel to Tron Legacy. It's coming out. Tron Ares with yours truly, Evan Peters. Is in that movie.
We're really excited. This is
my-
his actorial debut.
No, I've been in many movies. I was in.
Oh, that's right.
I was
I'm sorry.
Quicksilver. I was Quicksilver twice actually,
Yeah.
because I showed up in WandaVision.
I really enjoyed when you ran through the jail kitchen and moved all the bullets.
How'd you do that?
I was also in American Horror Story.
Yeah, you were also there.
Yeah.
You were in Dahmer. That was messed up, by the way. I don't know why.
No,
you
that was Evan Peters. That wasn't me. All right. Anyway, so yeah, we'll. I think we'll have a news episode coming out at some point, November. So, yeah,
It's gonna be a packed month in October. 2 movies.
And we are coming up on our 1
1
year
year
anniversary of the podcast.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a special episode for that. Very special.
It's just me. Singing.
Jason is gonna do backflips.
That's it.
That would be-
a 10-second video of me attempting a backflip.
Asher is going to balance like some sort of basketball or something on his nose.
And what are you gonna do? Put spoons on your head?
I'm gonna try to bend a spoon with my
if I can-
mind,
This is way too heavy. It's my water bottle.
Oh, this hurts.
all while talking about movies. Jason will do backflips nonstop for a 2-hour podcast.
Wouldn't it be funny if I just messed it up on the first try and like knocked myself out? And so the whole episode, I'm like in the corner, like
Me and Asher,
We
like,
just leave you there.
should we help him or like?
you're like, should we call 911?
It's like, nah, we're recording. We gotta
Okay.
go. We gotta talk.
We gotta wrap this up.
We got an agenda.
I've got somewhere to be in like an hour, so can we just like do the episode?
All right.
I'm just over here unconscious.
You're like in the position where like your back end is just like in the almost like you're a caterpillar.
All right. Well, this was a good time to end the podcast.
Caterpillar Jason.
Well, this has been 3 happy men talking about 12 angry men.
Excellent outro.
Excellent outro. We are the On the Slate Movie Podcast. I'm Wesley.
Jason.
And Dasher.
And we hope to see you in the next one. Make sure you follow us on all of our socials and send us an email.
Don't just like us and scroll by. Follow.
YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts.
Thank you.
And our email.
And if you're in the Raleigh-Durham area,
Hit us up.
hit us up. I'll give you Jason's address in public. All right.
I'll include that in the show notes.
Okay.
If you want to invade Jason's privacy or break into
Please.
his house, go to the description below.
Yes.
One time.
Okay. This has been the On the Slate Movie Podcast. We'll see you in the next one. God bless.